Hello everybody, my name is Devin with HDpiano.com, and in today's lesson I'll be showing you guys how to play Feel It Still by Portugal the Man. Here's a little taste of what we'll be learning in this video. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we'll be getting through about that much here in this video, but of course over at HDpiano.com I'll be teaching the rest of the song in its entirety, including an accompaniment version, or rather I'll just be going over some accompaniment tips, as we generally do with lessons that are a loop like this. We like to teach the melody because it's kind of like an added layer that you can play around with, and then if you're looking to accompany, rather than, play the melody in your right hand, then you can always find all sorts of ideas in the accompaniment tips video where we'll talk about ways to play the chorus, ways to play the verse, ways to bring it down, bring it up. So lots of stuff happening. All right, so I hope to see you over at the site after this lesson. Now, before we dive in, quick question. Does anyone know what inspired the band name here? Portugal.the Man. It's an unusual one for sure, and I've always kind of wondered, like, what does that mean, Not that a band name has to mean anything, but surely there's got to be a story there. And also, I'm curious, what are some of your other favorite band names? One of mine is Dirty Projectors. I love the band name, and I love the band. So comment below with some of your favorite band names and any juicy tidbits you've got about the inspiration of Portugal the Man. Okay, we are in the key of C sharp minor, and that is the relative minor of E major. All right, so that means there are 4 sharps. Let's just check out this scale real quick. So we have E's, F sharps, G sharps, A's, B's, C sharps, D sharps, and E's again, right? Nothing else will show up in this song. Just 7 notes. It's very diatonic to C sharp minor, aka E major, right there. They share the same set of notes. All right, well, let's learn this main riff in the left hand, and then we'll talk about a few things. So we start on C sharp, and we're going to double it up in both hands to start. Middle C is here, so we're pretty low on the piano for this one. Of course, if you're working with a smaller keyboard, you can always just kind of take that left hand up to accommodate whenever necessary. Up an octave, that is. Okay, so C sharp, and we're going between C sharp and G sharp. So this is the root of the chord to the 5th, and this will be the same pattern for every chord. We go root, 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 5th, root. Right, so that's C, 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 G, C. Of course, both of those are C sharp and G sharp. Right, very classic pattern there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Just play along with me here. All right, so our next chord is E major. So let's go up to E. We go down to B and back to E. Just loop this for a bit. Next one is less of a jump, F sharp. And then we go back to C sharp. All right, so we just kind of looped through each chord, but in reality, we have 2 measures of C sharp, 2 measures of E, 2 measures of F, and then again 2 measures of C sharp. So let's try it like that. 8 measure phrase for the intro. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Up to E. Here comes F sharp. Back to C sharp. And that's where the melody enters. All right, so I want to talk about a few things with this main riff. It starts off as a guitar, and technically the guitarist is playing these notes long, but he's picking it like really hard. So the attack of each note is like ding, ding, right? Very bright. And it sounds kind of staccato, but in actuality, it's more like this. But unfortunately, we don't really have a way of changing that attack on our piano, and so we're left with this really loud tail. And when we play it like this, it just kind of sounds like muddy and like not like the song. So I just wanted to make a note of that we're kind of converting it to a staccato part. Keeps it bouncy. All right. So on that final measure, we're going to hit that C sharp in our left, drop the right hand, and move up to middle C sharp and start the melody. So I want to just talk about the melody real quick, and I think what I'll do next is do a very slow playthrough of the verse and that first half of the chorus for you guys. But it'll help for you to see that it all just comes from essentially one scale. Yes, we talked about E major and the relative C sharp minor, but check out this scale. This is C sharp minor pentatonic. Regrettable choice of fingering there. My apologies. So pentatonic means it's a 5-note scale, and it's the same 5 notes as E major pentatonic. So we have C sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, B, and C. All right, let me play through the melody and watch closely. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 2, 3, E. All right, so far we've only played 4 notes, and then played a little bit of a B there. All right, so that whole verse utilized the 5 notes of the pentatonic scale and nothing else. Let's take a look at the chorus. 1. No surprise there, same 5 notes of the pentatonic scale. So it makes learning this melody nice and simple, and it goes to show you just how far you can get with a very limited palette. But of course, the pentatonic scale is used in everything, so it's not like it's something new or anything. But if you're ever trying to compose, don't feel like you got to do too much. You can always get away with doing just a little, as long as those melodies are catchy and intentional. So we start with a pickup of almost an entire measure. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right? I think it might be most effective for me to speak in numbers to avoid saying C sharp, F sharp, G sharp, all that stuff. So this is, we'll call this 1 because, we're in C sharp minor. So we have 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7. And those are the degrees of the scale for the pentatonic, right? The first, the minor third, the fourth, the fifth, and the 7th. So we go 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 1, 3, 4, 3, 5. All right? Kind of like solfege. And you can grace into that last one if you'd like. Of course, the bass line continues beneath, but we'll get to that in a bit. We wait for 2 measures, and when we land on E major in the bass, we play 1. You know what? That might be complicated when I'm counting and using numbers to say the names. So I'm just going to say E, F, 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 E. But you got to remember that F's, G's, C's, and D's are sharps, okay? So 1, E, F, 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 E, F, 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 E, G. All right. A few little grace notes in there. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Grace. Grace. And that just means approaching real quick from a note below. And we saw that leading into the verse as well. Right? Kind of a bluesy thing. Now moving on, we just landed on F sharp minor in the bass. 1, 2, 3, B, B, F, 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 E. Steady 8th notes for the entirety of that measure. And when we land on C sharp, 1, 2, 3, F, E, F, E, F, E, F, C. Right? So we're working with a very limited selection of notes, and I think it's time that we add some bass line. Now, it's kind of up to you if you want to keep the 4 and rhythm in the bass line. I like to simplify it when I'm playing notes in the right hand. It feels unrealistic and just more difficult than it should be to make sure that I'm, nailing the bass line exactly as it's played on the record when I'm already, so focused on the melody. So in the spaces where I'm not playing melody, I'll stick to the main riff, more or less exactly. But in the verses, I'll reduce to just playing 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 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 and then maybe on the last time, bump, 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 right? Going down to the 5th, just as a reminder, like, yeah, it's still there. All right, so we'll keep it real. Boom, 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 boom. Now simplify. B. All right. Sorry, I don't know the words. Yeah, so that was the verse. Let me do it one more time, a little slower. But I think I've set you up with everything you need to know. So let's do it one more time. 2, 3, 4, and 1. 1, 2, 3. Up to E. And like any good pop song, we're already at the chorus. Can you believe it? Oh, gosh, we must be like 20 seconds in at this point. So the chorus jumps up the octave, so a range change is in order, but otherwise the notes don't change. Right, just going between C sharp and B, and then finally down to G at the end there. And then for E major, C, C, B, B, G, E, F, 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 E, F, C. And remember your accidentals. All right, so we got 4 measures of the chorus. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Now we're at F sharp. Bassline will continue with the simplified version. Right hand plays C, C, E, F, E, G, C, C, E, F, G. With the left hand, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. All right, so the bass line there was just regular for a measure, and then we brought in that horn line, which is G, G, B, C, B, C, G sharps, of course. Classic kind of Barry sax moment that you hear in there. All right, well, we've made it through, and the only thing left to do, I think, is just to give you guys a nice slow playthrough of the verse and that first half of the chorus. And then we'll continue on over at HDpiano.com. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, pick up. I'll slow it down even a little more. 3, 4, 1. Whoa, excuse me. Boom, 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 boom. Great work. We've got a lot more ahead of us, including some accompaniment tips. So I'll see you over at hdpiano.com for the rest. My name is Devin. And in the meantime, please like and subscribe here on YouTube and follow us across social media so you know what's coming next. We'll talk to you soon.